you can only watch it for the first time once. It'll be interesting to see what we catch and what we don't.
This is our only first time.
We know that it's a serialized show.
Have you ever played the video game Mass Effect?
Okay, Tolkien, chill
Putting
out.
some little breadcrumbs.
Jean Prade Chuckle Nugget. This is where Babylon
Question.
5 is becoming Babylon 5.
We have the most incredible community out there.
Feels like we're going to continue to go down this rabbit hole.
I was right.
Just trying to put the pieces together.
I was right.
I'm the king, baby.
What? Are you kidding me? Here I go back to Dune, as I often
We're officially into it, Jeff.
100%
So good. It was so good. Completely accurate.
That was great. I love that.
Definitive ranking. I can keep watching the show.
I love it so much.
The year's 2026. The name of the podcast, Babylon 5, for the second time.
Previously on Babylon 5 for the first time. I'm actually kind of excited. Like, I'm really excited for this one. This is trash. This is why JMS would you do this? Slice his head off to Lynn. Do something cool. Jeff probably loved this episode.
Wow. I'm at a loss for words here. I don't, wow.
My good sir Brent, do you have a problem with this episode? Why are you speaking so?
People out there are going to give me such flack for this episode. I have no notes. I literally have no notes. There's nothing about this episode that stood out to me, that I want to talk about, that I have any desire to talk about. I don't know why we're doing this episode. This was objectively an awful episode.
I think every sci-fi show does this episode, though. Like, every sci-fi show has to have its fantasy. They're never that good.
This would have been so much better of an episode if that guy actually was the dude, King Arthur.
Michael York was, he tried. Right now, Dr. Franklin is the worst.
This didn't do it in a very Babylon 5 way. This was sloppy. This was poorly written. I don't know what the hell JMS was thinking about with this episode. I'll give it a Star Fury. No, I'm going to do half. Half.
Okay.
That's where I am. It's a half a Star Fury. That's it.
Half a Star Fury is exactly half a Star Fury more than I thought you were going to give it.
I will not watch this one again. Won't happen.
And now, the conclusion.
Hey, Brent, are you even there? You're not going to... You're... Is he seriously not going to watch this for the second time? Oh.
Yes, I'm seriously not going to watch this.
Hey, you're here. Cool. Oh, you're not going to do it. All right. Welcome to Babylon 5 for the second. Hey,
that's my line.
It is your line, man. Go.
Welcome to Babylon 5 for the second time. My name is Brent Allen.
My name's Jeff Akin. Brent and I used to be Star Trek podcasters, and then we watched Babylon 5 for the first time, and everything changed. Now we're watching this incredible series for the second time because Babylon 5 is a series that you get to watch for the first time twice.
That's right. But we are still searching for those sci-fi messages because that Star Trek thing still is inside of us. But you know, Jeff, the thing is, messages are not unique to sci-fi or not unique to Star Trek. They're really done very well throughout all of sci-fi. So we're looking for those here in Babylon 5. We're looking for the ones that give us mirror to society. They give us a hope that things can be better in the future. Maybe they just tell us how to be better human beings to one another.
Maybe.
Now, that being said, Jeff, you and I have seen this series all the way through. That includes this episode. Oh, boy, what an episode we'd had the first time around.
Yes, we did.
For people out there who have not seen this series through for the first time, maybe you've just watched this episode and said, let me go check out what these guys are saying about it. Stop. You don't want to watch the rest of this episode. Stop right now. Get out of this episode. We have one that is completely spoiler-free, that we didn't watch it first. It was our very first watch. You go check that one out. It's up in the feed. You guys go do that one. Join us there. Trust us, because from this point forward, Jeff and I are at free will to talk about anything from any point in the timeline, anywhere in the canon, anywhere outside of the canon, from anywhere in the franchise. it's all fair game for Jeff and I to talk about, as well as to talk about with our lovely council chambers and Discord folks who are joining us here for this recording.
It's always an absolute pleasure to hang out with our council chambers, tier subscribers who get invited to all of our recordings. But Brent, this is a special episode. So we open this up to everyone on our Patreon who has access to our Discord because, Brent, we're doing a thing that you said we would never do.
Previously on Babylon 5 for the first time. I'm actually kind of excited. Like, I'm really excited for this one. This is trash. This is why JMS would you do this? Slice his head off to Lynn. Do something cool. Jeff probably loved this episode.
Wow. I'm at a loss for words here. I don't, wow.
My good Sir Brent, do you have a problem with this episode? Why are you speaking so?
People out there are going to give me such flack for this episode. I have no notes. I literally have no notes. There's nothing about this episode that stood out to me, that I want to talk about, that I have any desire to talk about. I don't know why we're doing this episode. This was objectively an awful episode.
I think every sci-fi show does this episode, though. Like, every sci-fi show has to have its fantasy. They're never that good.
This would have been so much better of an episode if that guy actually was the dude, King Arthur.
Michael York was, he tried. Right now, Dr. Franklin is the worst.
This didn't do it in a very Babylon 5 way. This was sloppy. This was poorly written. I don't know what the hell JMS was thinking about with this episode. I'll give it a Star Fury. No, I'm going to do half. Half.
Okay.
That's where I am. It's a half a Star Fury. That's it.
Half a Star Fury is exactly half a Star Fury more than I thought you were going to give it.
I will not watch this one again. Won't happen.
And now, the conclusion.
And we're watching a late delivery from Avalon for the second time. Now, normally, this is where we talk about, like, hey, this is what I remember from it. But thanks to our very own Setai Delenn, who is here with us now and everything, you got to watch that at the in the open right there. So thank you to Delenn for piecing that together for us. That was incredible. But I think that pretty much wraps up our thoughts on the first time around. Is there anything else, Brent, that you got? Did you listen to our first time?
Well, I did, because we have homework and that's what we do.
And you're a professional.
And it was my turn. I just think I don't skip out on shows. I don't not do the work that I'm supposed to do. As you said, I'm a professional. Mm-hmm. I do this, except the first time around. Now listen, I have a little crow I gotta eat. I got a little comeuppance. I got a little apology I have to make to all of you guys out there.
Wow.
Because the truth is, Jeff,
secretly love this episode?
Absolutely not.
Okay, good.
While as of this moment right now, we have not watched this episode yet.
No.
Okay. But as of this moment right now, I stand behind everything I said in the first watch. I know you do too. Mm-hmm. I'm not speaking for you, but I know you do too, just because I know you. I stand behind everything I said. That being said, I fully recognize and I accept full responsibility for not doing my job as a podcaster the first time around. I came into that episode, Jeff, I had no notes.
Right.
No notes. And I just said this was just a bad episode. It pissed me off so bad. And the reasons it pissed me off, I think, are still there. I am open to seeing those reasons change. That's why I'm here. I'm giving it another shot. I'm giving it a second go. I am open to seeing those reasons change. But I didn't do the work. I didn't do the work of analysis. I didn't do the work of message finding. I didn't do the work of fair ratings. I pinned the entire episode on one of the multiple plot lines that are happening in this episode. And I would say there's 3 different separate plot lines happening in this particular episode. Mm-hmm. 2 of them are fantastic.
Yeah, I agree.
They really are. It's the other one, and it's the A plot, unfortunately, that really just, it sours this whole episode in my mind, and it did for me at the time. And I was wrong 2 years ago, 3 years ago now, whatever it's been, you know. And so I'm not going to be doing that this time. I will be doing the work of a podcaster. I will be doing the work of analysis as we go through it. And like I said, I am open. And that really, honestly, Jeff, that was the entirety of our first listen through. And here's the thing. If the truth is, when I was listening back to it, I thought to myself multiple times, man, if I was a new person and I just picked this podcast up and this is the episode that I happened to listen to, I'd be out.
Yeah.
I would be so out of this episode. And that's the vibe and you tried, Jeff, to your credit, you tried doing some stuff and I just dragged it down, man. It was all me. It was all me. Although you, did not have some nice things to say about this episode either.
No. I do remember that I liked the Garibaldi plotline specifically.
Garibaldi and Jakar parts were awesome.
Yeah.
They were so fun. But that really was my first that was our first podcast. It wasn't a fun listen. I'll be real honest with you. It like the episode itself was a big fat skip.
Okay. Yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
So now that being said, Jeff, I imagine, well, hold on real quick. We watched that previously on video.
We did.
Do you have anything you'd like to say about I'll give you the opportunity before we move on to the next segment. Do you have anything you'd like to say about the first time around through this episode?
Stand by. We'll be right back. Are you ready to take your Babylon 5 for the first time experience to the next level? With our exclusive Patreon, you'll get access to all kinds of cool stuff that you can only find there. Our recording notes, unedited reaction videos, an exclusive Discord community, and you can even be listed as a producer of the show. Plus, we even offer exclusive meet and greets and hangouts. You won't find this kind of experience anywhere else. Get all these amazing benefits, plus the opportunity to interact with other fans from around the world. It's being part of a huge community where everyone shares the same appreciation for Babylon 5. Subscribe at patreon.com/Babylon5First. That's the number 5 and the word first to get access to these incredible benefits. That's patreon.com/Babylon5First. We can't wait to see you there. So I remember, and the only reason I remember this is because Glenn did an incredible job putting this together, and so there were more clips than what she shared in that thing. Mm-hmm. My God, I leaned into Franklin so hard. Yeah. This thing, like in my recap and everything, I was just like, run, Dr. Franklin. Yeah, I imagine this is pretty unlistenable for the first time episode.
Here's the thing, Jeff. Okay, let's take note of that real quick. At this point in the first watch, you and I were hardcore anti-Franklin.
Big time.
Like there was nothing he could do that was right. On the second watch right now, because you see him through season 5, Dr. Franklin eyes, right? Because you know that in like 2 episodes, he's going to go on a walkabout.
Right.
Because you know who he really is. And actually, when you, I think, just analyze what he's really given us over the last 2.5 seasons so far of the second watch. Are you as hard on Dr. Franklin right now? Is like, where are you with him?
So I think that I'm hard on him in moments. Like there are definitely moments where it's like, oh my God, this is horrible. He is awful. All of that kind of stuff. But now not at all. Now those are moments that I watch through the lens of like, of course he's awful. We understand, his arc. We understand what he went through in his family, trying to stand up to his dad. We understand his addiction that he's dealing with. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, at this point,
we know that he's going to deal with his addiction.
Exactly. So I'm a fan of his at this point, even though he's a deeply flawed character. Yeah. Which I was not the first time. He was deeply flawed and I hated him.
Mm-hmm. And it was deserved, frankly. And here's the thing. If you and I could sit across the table from JMS, that would be, I think, one of the topics of conversation is how much did you go into trying to make people dislike Dr. Franklin, knowing he was about to go on this journey? Mm-hmm. With what, like, that's a part of the journey. In order for somebody to be redeemed, they have to fall from grace first.
Exactly.
Right? And to send somebody on that sort of a redemption arc that Dr. Franklin very clearly goes through, to make somebody go so beloved, they have to sometimes go to dark places first, right?
Yeah.
And so sending him to that dark place on purpose, it's why, Jeff, spoiler alert, those first 10, 11 episodes of season 5, I'm ready for those with a different eye, because I think I've said it before, I'll say it again. He's an awful character, but I think he's supposed to be awful. And if he is supposed to be awful and it was played that way, and everything that was done on purpose is what actually happened, because that's the way it was meant to be, it was brilliant. If it was an accident and they just messed it up, JMS just messed it up, and Robin, whatever his name is, they just messed it up and just made like the worst character in the entire franchise, then that's on them. I can't help with that.
That happens too.
But if they did it on purpose, oh my gosh.
Right. It's incredible. But I think it's an incredible thing, though, that Franklin does. He reflects reality for us, right? Like who does not have flaws? There's a great conversation going on in the Council Chambers chat right now on exactly that. So he is a mirror to society.
Mm-hmm. There you go. So Jeff, here's the thing. You and I watched this. We had an experience as first-time viewers. I have a feeling, though, it's just a gut instinct, given the huge get for the Babylon 5 production that it was to get Michael York, because that was huge, right? Well, like bringing Michael York in.
They wanted Michael York as the lead for the show.
Right, but they didn't get that. But now they got him. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, this is big, and I can remember, and I do understand the symbolism that goes into this episode and all of that sort of stuff. And I can imagine why that actually resonates probably fairly deeply with a lot of people. And I imagine JMS was my guess is he was very, very proud of this episode. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But you searched out what he said. So Jeff, clue us in. What does JMS say about this episode? Were we closer to right? Or does maybe he want to punch us in the face?
I think regardless of what we thought of this episode, he'd probably punch us in the face. But a couple of weeks ago, we had our council chambers hang out, and Kat says to me in that, she's like, hey, if you're doing notes for the JMS stuff on Late Delivery from Avalon, buckle up. And she was not kidding. Brent, there are mountains of comments. And I mean, like if you go to the Lurkers Guide and you can just scroll and it just goes forever and ever. But a lot of it's just back and forth. And most of it is really him talking a lot about Michael York and just how incredible, not only of an actor he is, but a person as well. He told a lot of stories about, this is arguably the biggest name that they've had since David Warner. And he could have come in and big timed everybody, and it would have been understandable and par for the course with people of his caliber. But he wasn't. He was cool. He spent time with people. He joked and really became a part of the cast and crew for the time that he was there, which is neat. I have a couple notes for during the episode, but I captured just three kind of big things that I wanted to share in this piece. And I'm just gonna quote him here. He says, "I like this one a lot. It's not really an arc episode. It's going to hit some backstory elements. It's just really nicely done. I'm quite proud of it. In fact, this is one of Andreas's favorite episodes," which I get. This had to be so much fun for him. Did some specific work on the soundtrack with Mr. Frankie, and they wanted to up the Arthurian feel of everything, and so they used very little electronics. So I want to listen for that this time in the soundtrack. Oh, but Brent, he directly addresses us here, just as we are able to go back and tell him when he's making a bad choice.
It was our timeline?
Yeah.
I don't even remember getting in that. We haven't done it yet. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Tell me what we're going to do. Yeah, okay.
When people hear what it appears to be about, the immediate reaction is going to be, oh, God, they're not doing that, are they? And there'll be a lot of sarcasm, a lot of head shaking until the episode airs. And folks see that what it's about is not what it's about. And I think it will be a very popular episode thereafter.
That is literally the exact opposite experience that I had.
I know. Right? It's just like, ah.
Look, that was honestly one of the number one responses we had. Because as it was in the video, what did I say? I was like, it would have been better had it actually been King Arthur.
Yeah.
Can I explain that just for a second? Because I know people really hate this idea King Arthur's overused. Just here's the thing. There's so many different ways they could have done. They could have gone with the quote unquote historical King Arthur, which I know even that's a little iffy on what that is. They could have gone with that. Like JMS Babylon 5 could have established their own historical lore, much like they did with Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
We've already established that the Vorlons take people out of Earth history and put them on ice until they need to serve them for something, right? It works. They could have gone with something that was a little bit more mythological based and just said, yeah, this actually was the King Arthur that the stories were based on. Like, they could have done that because guess what? Within a fictional world.
Yeah, why not? Do it.
And you're going to do the sci-fi thing where the Vorlon, and by the way, think about it. Go all the way back to medieval ancient history. Merlin, magic, dragons, Madame Mim. Well, I don't think she was really there, but you know what I'm saying? Like, all that stuff. You throw these magic Vorlons in there, all of that suddenly becomes a possibility.
Exactly. It
You
could
know
have
what I mean?
really happened.
And mythology and legend can take over and can fluff it up and make it seem whatever it is over the course of history. But they could have pulled that in. And that's what I mean. Like, I know when people are like, oh, no, the King Arthur thing's way overdone. First of all, now I have to ask, JMS said it, so is this now just groupthink because the boss said it? I got to ask the question. But also, I can understand this idea of, really, they're bringing in King Arthur? Because I got to tell you, there's another popular sci-fi series that brought in King Arthur at some point, and I was like, really? Do you know how lame that is? Are you serious? I've done that before to other sci-fi series too. Series? Series.
Sure. Yeah.
Sure. I've done that too, but I think this one, because they first established a precedent, I think it actually could have gone off really, really well.
I think you're
That's
right.
just my opinion. That's my thought.
Well, Brent, you have apologized. You have re-examined your first time piece, and then what do you say? We just actually watched this episode now for the second
I am
time.
delaying this as long as I possibly can, Jeff. Stop taking this. Stop pushing this on me.
Before we came on, you said something like, "Hey, have you ever been excited for a thing, and then it's right in front of you, and all of a sudden you're like, I don't want to do this anymore." My time doing that was the first time I went skydiving, and what's scary about that is you don't have a choice. You're going out of that plane, whether you want to or not, right?
Right.
Brent, we're skydiving right now, and we're about to go out of the plane. Take a breath.
Okay.
Because this is what's going to happen right now. We're going to bring up the episode. You and I are going to watch it real time. We're going to comment on it. I feel bad for our audio listeners because we're going to have facial expressions. I'm sure it'd be a lot of nonverbal communication, which is great
This
for an
might
audio
be if you're
product.
normally an audio listener, this might be one to go to YouTube and check it out.
This might be the one. But we're going to put this up on YouTube, edited like a reaction video sort of thing, like we do. If you want to see the full and unedited version where we watch the entire episode and you can see the things that we decided to edit out or whatever, that's posted to our Patreon page a week before it releases to the public, patreon.com/badnerds.
And if you are listening to us on that audio podcasting app, no worries. You're going to join us because we're going to have all those conversations. So we'll take that audio. You'll hear that. And then you're going to join us at the backside, just like everybody else. So don't worry. You're going to be good. And you're going to get to know exactly what's happening because if you're listening to the audio version, chances are you've seen the episode enough. All you need to do is hear it and you'll know exactly what's happening.
Exactly.
So that being said, Jeff, I guess the time is here. I am stuck between the tick and the talk. Might as well. I don't have a rhyme.
It's time to talk.
Accessing file.
Well, that's the first. It's going to take a long time to get the level of trade back to where it was before we broke away from Earth. Right now, we need the docking fees.
I really like how this piece of funding
One thing sure.
shows up throughout
Can't keep
this.
relying on them embarring for protection. We have to create a broader base of support.
And you have an idea.
Always, Commander.
What do you mean 100 credits?
This guy, this mailman guy, should have been a recurring character in the show.
Yeah, totally. He's great.
Look, I can't get into conceptual
Look,
arguments.
they made a sign for his office. They gave him a
3 times
room.
delivery charge for a package this size.
That was before we had a revolution around here. Now, in my little corner of Earth Force, the mail still gets delivered.
It's the last package I'm going to get from Earth for a long time. It's got mozzarella.
Mozzarella.
Right, with pepperoni.
Is Garibaldi Italian? Is that name Italian? I guess it could be.
I think so. I think it is.
Okay.
What kind of pepperoni? Is it the big sticks or the small ones?
Oh, we're talking big sticks like this.
This guy's so great.
Give me the box.
And break my oath to the post office? I'd die first. Next.
He should have been a recurring character. This could have been a thing.
Totally. Yep.
Ben says,
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Ben says
So
there should have been an after credit scene for Endgame, which is Endgame is the episode where President Clark eats it and we finished the Civil War, right?
Yeah.
Right. That's that episode. He says it should have been an after credit scene for Endgame of this guy delivering a package to dead President Clark and being like, I still need a signature.
He could have grabbed that, like, his Psycho Ramblings page and go, this'll do.
Right. Hey, he looks familiar. So here's your first hint that things are not always, that this is not exactly what it seems.
But this also lines up with, like, being snagged by the Vorlon, right? Like,
yes.
Coming up in a thing. Like, so far it still tracks with he was snatched.
Absolutely it does. I do like how this scene is shot.
Yeah.
I will say, like from a photography standpoint, narrow corridor, very long, shaking, like, this reminds me of some of the haunted houses in Gatlinburg, Tennessee that I grew up going to.
Yeah?
Yeah. My grandparents took me there every year, and they had these kind of weird little chintzy haunted houses. It reminds me of one of those.
You're gonna cut your fingers, man.
Hope that's a dull blade.
Right?
Don't grab a sword by the blade. What's wrong with you?
So to this point, this tracks 100% with him being snatched by the Vorlon.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely it does.
I think it looked great, and Andrew just made the comment in the Council Chambers chat. I couldn't agree more. For this being our first little, like, hey, this guy just rolled over in his rack, and now we're going to show you this thing in his mind. That went on way too long.
Okay, so here's my question. So he's in his rack on his bed.
Yeah.
For us non-Navy folk. He's in his bed. You assume that is the bed that's on the shuttle that's bringing him to Babylon 5.
Yeah, because there were other people racked up there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And he's having this dream. Are we to assume that it is on the ship, on the way to Babylon 5, that he now receives the sword and has his little psychotic break?
I don't think so. I think that was clearly...
Did he really supposed to... Like
that's our peek into his mind, and we're going to see it more, as the episode goes on. And
okay, and this is a thing, because Ivy mentions, where did he get the sword anyway? This was something that was in his brain.
Mm-hmm. That's what I think.
Where did the real sword come from? Because he's actually carrying a real sword.
You got it from a tobacco shop at the mall.
Well, that's like, he would have, even if this was a dream and like he woke up really thinking he was Arthur, which I don't think that's the way that works, he would have still had to taken himself to the mall or to the sword shop.
Yeah.
Wherever there's a sword shop, found him one, paid money for it, credits or whatever. Like, I mean, it just doesn't track with me.
I used to think it was awful that life was so unfair. Then I thought, wouldn't it be much worse if life were fair and all the terrible things that happen to us come because we actually deserve them? So now I take great comfort in the general hostility and unfairness of the universe.
Thoughts on that?
I have a lot of thoughts on that, but it surrounds faith. Okay, I'll go there. You guys who've been around for a while, Jeff and I both are people of faith, different faith, but we are still people of faith. So I'm speaking only for me and my belief system, okay? I just want to be real clear about that. And if you don't believe, totally cool. Just understand this is where I'm coming from, all right? Wouldn't it be much worse if life were fair and all the terrible things that happen to us come because we actually deserve them? You see, Jeff, I believe that at their core, all people are sinners, part of our nature. The things that happen, we do deserve. It's not just like the individual things we do. It's part of our makeup. It's a part of who we are. And so I think in many ways we do deserve these things, But what I find in that is an incredible comfort. There's an old phrase, there but for the grace of God go I.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That there is a mighty covering of grace and mercy, and I often hear those two things defined. Mercy is not getting the things that you deserve, not getting the justice you deserve to get. Grace is getting the things you don't deserve. The other one is not getting the stuff you do deserve, right? Mm-hmm. And I find an incredible outpouring constantly every day in life for people of faith and people not of faith, for people of different faiths, of a merciful, a graceful, and a benevolent God and higher power that truly loves the entire world, and the things that do happen really are very messed up. And so when he was saying that, wouldn't it be much worse if life were fair? It would be much worse if things were fair and we got the things that we did deserve. And thank God for grace and mercy, is my thought there. That's my inner thought. You asked me, Jeff, now I ask you. What about you?
I kept knocking it around in my head, and I kept bumping up against a Rush song, BU2.
Right? Well, everyone take a drink.
right? BU2B from their Clockwork Angels record. It's their last one, came out in 2012. It's like a little poem. I'm going to read a couple of the stanzas on it because I think it tells quite a great story. It might line up a little bit with what you were saying too. It says, I was brought up to believe the universe has a plan. We're only human. It's not ours to understand. The universe has a plan. All is for the best. Some will be rewarded, and the devil take the rest. The joy and pain that we receive, each comes with its own cost. The price of what we're winning is the same as what we've lost. Until our final breath, joy and pain that we receive must be what we deserve. That's what I was brought up to believe. I think it's super complicated, right? I think that things happen at an individual level that are unfair. In the chat, a person said, I have a disability, like I'm disabled, and my family tells me, hey, no, it's not fair that you are a person that's disabled, right? It's not fair. And it's real, like it's I think it's a thing. It's just at an individual level, things are not fair. You come up to more of a macro level and maybe it balances. Maybe it's how it's supposed to be. I don't know. But I'll tell you, the way they divvy it out, it's pretty random, right? Good things happen to people that we would say, or from our seats would say, oh, they don't deserve that good thing. Just like bad things to happen to people that we, from our seat, would say that they don't deserve for that to happen. But there's more to it, right? I'm not discounting. I'm just talking to the complexity of it all.
Yeah. There's lots of chat. There's lots of questions that are happening over here in the chat, and I don't know that this is the time to get into that particular conversation because that'll take over this whole episode, and I don't think that's what we want to do. However, I would invite anybody if you have I see several that are directed to me personally, and I'm sure there's probably some coming to Jeff right now as well. Please feel free to message us. Because I know we would love to respond to you on that and actually have that conversation. We're not scared of having. I just don't know that diving too far into it is in the scope of what we're trying to do right now. Do that quote from Rush for me one more time though. I want to try to lock that in.
All right, I'll pull it up because it's.
Oh no! Are you lying to us this whole time?
I told you I read it.
Jeff, you're supposed to have all of this memorized.
The joy and pain that we receive. Joy and pain
he's staring me in the eyes, folks, trying to remember it and not
I was brought up to believe, right?
Sing it, go.
I'd have to sing it to get there, but I'm gonna look it up because I don't want to waste everybody's time with me singing this song that, by the way, is an incredible song, and I listened to the drums on it because the drum part is unreal. The Big Party says here, until our final breath, the joy and pain that we receive must be what we deserve. It's what I was brought up to believe.
This Joe?
Minbari call that Izilzar, means the future, birth, beginnings, dawn of a new age.
Itzilzar.
It's
a subtle language for subtle people.
I like both Franklin and Marcus in this scene. This is great.
The Minbari say the only way to understand the battle is to understand the language. War is as much concept as execution.
What else do they teach you?
Delight, respect, compassion. That for your actions to be pure, they must proceed from direction, determination, patience, and strength. I'm afraid I'm still working on patience. They taught me how to live, how to breathe, how to fight, and how to die. And they taught me terror, how to use it and how to face it.
That gets repeated in the future from Delenn, right? When the Rangers are on board. And they launch the war of terror against those punk guys.
We're not going to say that over top of a video. What now?
So we get that bounced back in the future. There's the scene where the two Minbari Ranger initiates or whatever get jumped and beat up. And
are you talking about the episode like they were like the school kids and we thought one of them should have been Lanier, but it wasn't?
Yep. Yeah. That episode.
I liked that episode.
And when Delenn gets asked about it, she's like, we're going to fight back. And how are we going to fight back? With terror, she says, with all this stuff. And at the time, I was like, holy crap, where'd that come? Oh, it came from this. It was actually very well established. So, hey, Jeff, from the first time, it's actually legit.
Hey, look at you watching for the first time twice.
I'm sorry, sir. Our scanners just picked up a weapons violation.
Man, this is like security at Disney World right now. I ain't gonna lie.
Look,
I still find it very odd that only senior staff gets the new uniforms.
Well, Delenn made them.
Have I been gone that long?
But they could just use the replicators.
Have you forgotten everything? I am Arthur, son of Uther Pendragon, and king of the Britons. No man takes Excalibur from me and lives.
Okay, we have to have this conversation right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, before
knowing what we know, go ahead. No, go ahead. What?
I was super fast at JMS piece. That chainmail was real and weighed like a metric ton. And they didn't plan it that way, but they got it. And Michael York was like, hey, it's fine. I'll deal with it.
Because Peter Jackson and Weta Studios or whatever didn't come up with the little plastic chain link things that they used in Lord of the Rings that was much lighter. They hadn't had that yet. I have a question. Okay. Because this changes these entire scenes with him from now on. What do we believe about this guy right now? Does he truly believe that he is King Arthur, that he has come back, that he has been asleep in Avalon and he's here for a purpose, and there's all this new stuff that's fandangled, and here's his sword, and he really believes that this is Excalibur and this is what's good? Does he truly believe this? Or does he know who he is? Does he know what he did? Does he feel the guilt? And this is a show he is putting on.
I think he truly believes it. I think he also knows who he is and knows what he's done, but he's pushed that so far back that all he knows is that he's Arthur.
Okay.
What do you think?
I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's why I asked the question. I can't tell right now whether this is all an act for him, or I don't want to pretend like I'm some big mental health expert or some psychologist or psychiatrist. I don't know how things like this work. And I'm going to call it a psychotic break. That might not be the right word. And I don't mean to be insulting to anyone who has suffered one of those or anything like that. I'm not really not trying to do that. I just don't know another word to use. But for a guy who has this kind of a break with reality, I don't know how much they truly, I don't know, do they go in and out of it? Because at some level, he had to buy the sword. He had to buy the chainmail. He had to book passage to Babylon 5 with a ticket for some reason. He had to maneuver his way around this shuttle ship while he was on it and sleeping, and like there are certain things that he still would have had to do at this point in his life that I don't know could have been a complete no, I'm straight out of the Middle Ages, you know.
I would think, and
again, says, yes, you can go in and out.
I think so. And I think I'm also not a mental health professional, but I would stack this up against something like DID, like a dissociative identity disorder sort of a thing. And where it is, you're kind of in and out. Sometimes you're halfway there. I wonder if there was, whatever his non-Arthurian name is, but he's out shopping for the sword, but there's also this piece of you're hunting for Excalibur, fueling him and pushing him forward to do the thing, giving him the courage to walk into that tobacco shop at the mall so he could buy a sword.
But see, then, and again, this goes back to my lack of knowledge of how this works. Is he seeing Babylon 5 with the security guy there? Is he seeing the tobacco shop? Or is he seeing the caves and the castles and another night and a castle that's here? What is he seeing with his eye? What's he interpreting with his brain right now? I don't know.
Given what we see later, I think he sees what it is, but I think the thing that makes this character special, and not necessarily just the Michael York character, but the character of Arthur Pendragon special, is he sees the people and he sees the suffering and he sees what's really impacting a person, regardless of where they are or when they are. And I think getting to the messages piece, I think that's one of the things that he brings to this thing is kindness is timeless, right? And all you have to do is pay attention. So yeah, maybe he sees the guns and he sees the wires and he sees the stuff, but ultimately he sees people who are very aggressive right now. He's only responding to the people.
Yeah. Because again, to go back to frankly what JMS was putting on for us to believe, I could wholeheartedly believe that here's a guy who got plucked out of Earth history, has lived in Vorlon world for a while. I don't know if he was on ice or not, or if he just lived on Vorlon world for a while. So he understands that it's been 2,000 years or whatever it's been. And so there, he gets all of this stuff, but now he is going to be who he is, and he's going to declare his identity and all that sort of stuff. That all makes sense to me. The other stuff, I just don't get. But here's the other thing. Let's also track the other side. The sword is a symbol of his guilt. Because he is the one who started the war. He is the one who flashed the sword first or drew the first sword or whatever, right? This is the symbol of his guilt. He's on a mission looking for the Lady of the Lake to return the sword.
I think that's what it is.
Did he come here specifically for Delenn?
I know. That's why I'm curious.
Does he know Delenn is here and he's coming looking for her? Or is he just looking for any Minbari?
Does
he know he's looking for Minbari? Yeah, and so he's just going anywhere where he can find a Minbari. Oh, Babylon 5, that's an international place. Let's go there. Because they're not allowed on Earth anymore right now. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wait! Leave him to me.
I also have an accent. I can talk to him.
These men mean you no harm.
Your accent. You're a Briton.
Yes, my lord. Several generations removed from our splendid island, but the roots
We
run
still have
deep
the accent.
nonetheless.
Let me tell you what. I'm several generations removed from that splendid island, and I ain't got that accent.
We'll send word to Galahad and Lancelot.
Galahad is dead. Lancelot is dead. Guinevere and Percival, even Mordred, all of them are dead. I have been gone a long time. A very, very long time, but I am not mad.
And set aside your sword.
That's a very shiny
You're among
sword.
friends here, Arthur.
It's all right. I'll take it from here.
You're sure?
Yeah, I assume full responsibility. It's all right.
Who is this?
A doctor.
I'm in no need of a doctor, so take your leeches elsewhere.
Okay. First of all, that's a really funny line.
Yeah.
All right, that's a funny line. Take your leeches elsewhere. Which, were they using leeches in Arthur's day? Or because I feel like that's more Revolutionary War time, like 1700s type.
Oh, that's pretty timeless.
Is it?
I don't know. I have no idea.
You don't know the history of medicine, Jeff?
I don't. It's weird. I know. I didn't pay attention.
Okay, I got to talk about what Franklin just did. And Garibaldi needs to fire these guys. These guys are responsible for the safety and security of the station. And you got the doctor saying, I'll take full responsibility. And like, okay, well, go ahead with your sword. No, your security. He's not. Garibaldi wants to come in and call you off. That's his prerogative. The doctor, it's like, you're not like the chief medical officer is the only one who can give the captain an order.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it has to be about a medical issue. It just can't be regular issues, right? Kind of like security guys. Like, no, we're not going to let you do this. Because we are this, like, you can let him go with you, but we're taking the sword. There's none of, like, no. Those guys are like, okay, cool, whatever.
Hey, this guy in a uniform said something. Right. Also, this guy we didn't know who we seeing down below all the time just told us to stay cool.
Right. Anyway, Andrew points out, these might not be the regular security guys because they had some people leave, and these might just be like the new guys who are coming in. They were promised a $50,000 bonus that they're never really going to get, apparently, and they're not really as well trained as they like to think they are. But good news.
I was going to go with the one striper TSA piece. You went a different direction. I think they're both appropriate.
He's just a little late. That's all.
I'm just a little late, that's all.
Your journey has been a long one. He just wishes to ensure that you are in good health. If you refuse, my friend will be penalized harshly.
And now Marcus is straight up lying to the king.
Very well. I've been treated and prodded and healed by the Nine Sisters since the year of our Lord 515. What is another healer after that? Lead on. I will follow you.
Were we naming it 515 AD back in 515 AD?
I don't know.
I don't know that we were counting it by that at that point. Were we?
That's post Pope Gregory, so yeah, maybe.
Yes, Doctor.
Okay.
No identification, no travel papers, nothing that could tell us who he really is.
He must have ditched his ID.
He was on the Asimov. Somebody asked what shuttle he was on. He was on the Asimov.
I think we've had the Asimov here before.
A few times.
Yeah.
Multiple times. Yeah.
3 times I asked Bedivere to return Excalibur to the Lady of the Lake. I could not be taken.
He's feeling that.
By the time he finally did as I asked, it was almost too late. Then a barge appeared offshore with...
So what we're hearing is Bedivere did
and the 9
take
sisters.
Excalibur back to the Lady of the Lake.
They took me to the island of Avalon.
So why does he have it again?
They said that I would sleep for a time, but that I would return when I was
Once
most
again,
needed.
Everything here points to Vorlon activity.
Agreed. Yeah.
Historical myth mixed with established historical fact within the Babylon 5 universe. I submit JMS is doing this on purpose, right?
Yeah, I don't argue with that at all.
Actually, I know you said that he's setting this up as they're gonna roll their eyes when they see it, but then it's gonna be something else and everybody's gonna love it. Is he setting this up to just be the history of the myth, or is he subtly saying no, this is actually what the Vorlons do? Like, because it sounds like what the Vorlons do.
It does. Also, it sounds like what probably actually happened to David McIntyre is his name. Very similar to him, right? So he talked about his old wound and all this stuff, and then he was hurt, and then they took him to this place, Avalon, where he could rest. They're taking David because he had his break, and they're like, hey, we're going to take care of you for a while, man. Just come here and lay down and do these great drugs, and you'll feel better. It'll be great. But now he's experiencing it all through the lens of I'm Arthur. Mm-hmm. And he said he gave it to Bedivere. He's trying to get it back. I imagine giving it to Bedivere was basically going to his commanding officer or his divo or something and being like, I didn't mean to. Like, it wasn't what I wanted. That's not what I wanted to have happen.
Yeah. And I just want to clarify, just in case I misspeak or have already misspoken, because it's entirely possible. I know that the King Arthur myth and legend is just that, myth and legend. All of this stuff, it's just part of the story. I also know that there is some, because we just studied it in our history class with my kiddos, there is some historical evidence to a figure whom Arthur could have been based upon. None of the mythology being a thing. This is basically just a warrior guy who brought people together is really all he was.
Yeah.
So when I talk about a historical fact, I'm just meaning within universe or within the mythology.
Okay.
I don't mean to misspeak as if the Arthurian legend is real. Right? I just want to be very clear about that.
There was no King Arthur. It's a story. That's all.
Well, not exactly. There's enough historical evidence to suggest that there may have been a real person.
All of that's true.
Well, either way, it's pretty obvious this guy is not Arthur.
I actually like the fact that what JMS just did in that conversation was address
exactly what
is supposed to be happening in everybody's mind.
Mm-hmm.
The Arthur thing's not real. Well, there is this historical thing that says something could have happened. Sheridan just puts a cap on it and goes, either way, he ain't it.
As interesting a diversion as this might be, our first concern right now.
I want to pause really quick.
What about the sword on the station?
I know. Can we deal with that?
Here's the thing. Maybe they're not worried about the sword because it's so blunt. You can apparently just grab it by the blade and nothing happens.
Like, what's he going to do? Just waggle it around.
Right.
Now, I want to highlight a quote, a comment here that Mitsy made in the chat. I'm going to reference this after the episode, so I just want to capture it here really quick. She says, maybe David just really, really liked the Arthurian myth stories, and it was the one place of fantasy free from his pain of reality. Sometimes there are bits of fiction that can make a day bearable. He just went all the way. Hold on to that. I'll talk about it more after we finish.
Now, Michael.
You know, the Vorlons have been to Earth.
Right!
And from time to time, they have taken someone out of their time, preserved him until he was needed, and revived him. Your recent encounter with Mr. Sebastian, for instance.
You're not serious.
A ship appeared and took Arthur to a place where he would be healed and preserved. A place
Marcus
from
is
which
us.
he would return when he was most needed.
Legends are legends because they have a certain power over ideas.
By the way, I had my idea for all of that before Marcus ever said that. But I'm sure I'm not alone in that. I'm sure many people did that.
Speech patterns are too contemporary. His vocabulary is all wrong. The question we should be asking is what made him tip over? I scanned his neurosystem. It's fully intact. So whatever's wrong is functional. It's not organic. Maybe the result of a trauma or
I will say this.
breakdown.
Okay. At this moment, right here, the idea that he possibly could be the real King Arthur and the whole thing with the Vorlons should immediately have gone out the window. Because JMS is telling us in the conversations, he's telling us that guy's not King Arthur. He just said the vocabulary is all wrong. The dress is all wrong. All of this is all wrong. This is not. The bigger question is what's pushed him over the edge. Mm-hmm. So for anyone to hold on to the idea that this guy actually could be Arthur and that this is a Vorlon thing, at this moment, you should be saying, no, that's not the case. And this is actually a regular person who's dealing with some sort of a break, and we have to explore that.
Mm-hmm.
Like JMS is telling, he's not pulling a fast one on us here. He is telling us at 15 minutes into the episode with 30 minutes left. What you're thinking ain't it. Ha ha ha.
Yeah. Marcus is going to tell you what you thought it was.
Yeah.
And now Franklin's going to tell you, nope. And we're going to move on.
And by the way, I'm not sure there was a point in the first watch that I did with this because I was loving every bit of it. I was like, dude, if he turns out not to be to really not be Arthur, I'm gonna be so mad. Like because I was so loving this idea. Dylan, I'm sorry, Dylan points this out. I have to address this right here, right now.
Well. Uh-huh.
Dylan, who by the way, Arsatai Dylan, one of our rangers here on our Discord page, put together that incredible previously on video for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Dylan also very intimately associated with not just our conversation, but also your reaction video as well. Recent. It's very recent in her memory. Okay. She says, and she asks, Jeff, you were really against Franklin questioning if he really was Arthur, but you're having a very different reaction today. Do you have words, Jeff?
I am having a very different reaction because I know the end. I think I had I might possibly have had a bit of a bias against Dr. Franklin the first time I watched it, and I really just took this as him dismissing someone who may be from the Vorlon or may have a medical condition, and Dr. Franklin's just like, oh, I don't think it's going to be the thing, so it's not the thing. That's how I probably heard it the first time. Almost as if my bias clouded my vision.
That happens. A bias, which, by the way, I would say was earned by the writer who set you up to have such bias.
Maybe, yeah. Although this time I'm hearing it very differently. I hear a lot of compassion in Dr. Franklin.
Speak, boy.
Well, listen to him and look at his face. He's just like, God, he suffered. This guy suffered something horrible.
Dude, I will tell you this right now. There is not a thing that Dr. Franklin has done yet in this episode that I have a single iota of an issue with.
Outside of telling security that everything's cool. But that's a security thing.
I have a problem with security being like, okay. But I'm cool with Franklin should have tried to call them off. That's actually what he should have done. And he is one of the senior staff, so maybe they defer to him just based on senior staff. I don't know if he has that authority to do that or not, but whatever.
Doctor, the patient you were holding in Isolab 1, I don't know what happened to him, but he's escaped.
All right, we got to go. People tend to get out of ISOLAB pretty easy, don't they?
I know.
Marcus did. King Arthur did. I feel like there's a few other people that do over the course of the show.
So he's out here on this quest to give the sword back to the Lady of the Lake, yet this is what he chooses to do. I think it's incredible.
Sure.
I told you. 100 credits by yesterday, or we beat the crap out of you. Now, why do you make me do this?
Is that the post office guy trying to chase down his 100 credits?
I'm gonna do.
He put the chainmail hood up. So what happens if his chainmail gets hit by that hot plasma burst?
Ooh, yeah. It might be okay. Like, it might not pierce it.
Or it melts the metal to his
from old
chest.
women. Cowards, I think.
You better put that pig sticker away before you end up eating it.
You have something that does not
This
belong to you.
gives me the spin-off that I really want now out of this episode.
Which is?
King Arthur, superhero of Down Below. Some dude dressing up and fighting crime.
He's like the Batman of Babylon 5.
Totally. It'd be great. I got a guy wearing armor and a sword. I'm probably not going to swing at him.
No. Dude, anytime you can do that with the sword, the little whooshy thing, dude, you're badass,
Right?
man.
Those things are heavy.
Not a chance. I got friends.
That's all right. He's got friends too.
That's all right.
I love it. I love it.
Him jumping over that rail, man, that is iconic.
He heard the calling of his heart.
Here's Jakar.
We're going to skip over that whole fight scene for apparent reasons, and here's the outcome.
They actually shot it. It just didn't turn out very well, so they had to just skip it. Dude, look at him. He had that hood mail up, took it down. Not a hair is out of place.
Perfect. Proof that he's from the Vorlon.
He's armed, so consider him dangerous. Don't get too close. If you find anything, you let me know.
No moral ambiguity. No hopeless battle against ancient and overwhelming forces. They were the bad guys, as you say. We were the good guys. And they made
I love it.
I use that quote as often as I can.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
It's wrong for the
So quick
strong
note.
to prey on the weak.
JMS says, virtually all food that you see used is real for health reasons. The liquid drunk by Jakar and Arthur is Yoo-hoo.
Dig it.
Yeah. Back in season 1, when Michael Garibaldi had a big old pile of food, that was piled meatloaf. When he ate the spaghetti, the barnacuda and stuff, that was actually real food. But I thought it was kind of neat they used Yoo-hoo. Is Yoo-hoo even a thing anymore?
Oh, yeah.
It is?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yoo-hoo.
I mean, I can't imagine people eating fake food
That
on these
idea was
shows.
at the
Right.
You know, what you will see a lot is people that they have food in front of them, they have
Right.
a fork, they never actually eat it.
They'll be like, yeah, that's exactly what I think. Oh, and I'm just going to hold this. And
They just hold it and they put it down. They get it close to their mouth. They put it back down because they're going to say something, but they never actually eat it. That does happen quite a bit. If you
continuity would be hard, and by some point you're going to throw up.
The heart of the Round Table, to correct injustice, to promote a society of laws, not arms. Well said. That is the purpose which God and the Crown have set before. I cannot achieve that locked away in some room.
I love seeing Jakar opened
I
up.
sense in you a warrior born.
He talked about being
But
locked in a
priestly
room.
manner.
He did.
Is that like an insane asylum room? And he's actually an escaped insane asylum patient. You know, he has, as a medical patient, he has the ability to get out of places.
Mm-hmm. But he's about to explain it a little bit.
Refined education. My knights were such men as you. Well, we're not exactly such as you. The eyes were not.
Yeah, dude, for somebody from the 16th century,
That is not.
I would lose my mind if I saw
First
somebody
to
look
lend
like
your
that.
good arm to my defense. And you shall sit at my right hand at the new Round Table. And You shall be known as
Serge, no more
Sir
citizen.
Jacquard.
It's now. Oh, he's taking that serious.
I love the fact he calls him Jacquard.
Jacquard. Uh-huh.
Jacquard. Not Jacquard. Jacquard. Londo calls him that, too. It's like Londo and Arthur. Jacquard.
The two loves of his life, really.
Truly.
You seem to take our battle quite personally, as if what they had done offended you.
It did. At Cannonfield, my knights lay dying or dead. As dawn spread across the bloody ground, I saw others moving among them like specters risen from some unholy grave, stealing their swords there, jewels there, crests there, rings. My knights were there because of me. I was responsible.
So right now, he's thinking about when he pulled the trigger and the knights being his fellow soldiers. And
Yeah.
You all right?
I think that right there was our very first actual hint that, like,
Oh, yes.
this is a for now thing. This is there is something going on here.
Yeah.
It was a dream, that's all. Battle was
So if we look at it through the lens of
intended.
what happened, right? So they come in, Minbari have their gun ports open. David McIntyre is sitting there, gunner's mate 2 or whatever, ready to follow orders. All hell breaks loose, right? He fires the shot that he was ordered to do. He just, and then boom, 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 boom. So then he talks about, he saw it happen. All the unholy monsters coming in, swooping in, stealing their swords, their rings, their valuables. And it was all my responsibility. What do you think was actually happening? Like, what is he translating in his mind? So I feel like if he saw Minbari, he would call that an unholy creature. Maybe.
Well, I think, because this is where we have to go compare it to Atonement. Right. When they launched their fighters, it wasn't just their ships shooting at them. They launched like their little peon guys and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's probably a lot of what he, those guys coming out shooting back at them, stealing the little things here and there. That's nothing. That's some overinterpretation, but I think it really is just however he's trying to describe that Minbari attack that just went bonzo on them.
The chat over here, is saying maybe it was the Soul Hunters. I think that's an interesting take, maybe.
I mean, listen, we don't have any evidence that the Soul Hunters showed up during. Well, yeah, they did because they showed up for Ducat, right?
Yeah, they all stood in a thing around Ducat, and they wouldn't let him take his soul. So they were there.
Right. That's right. So that could be it. That would be because we know those little glowy things, and they kind of look like that. That could be. Okay,
I just finding it about that interesting as we get these little nuggets dropped. It's like, oh, okay. Once you know the story,
But don't forget, the Soul Hunters require some major contraption things set up. Like, it's not just a hey, let's walk in there. Like, you got to have a whole deal going. So
Our armies have been told to watch and attack if someone
that is what
drew a
happened.
Sword. We just finished our negotiations when one of Mordred's knights saw an adder about to strike, so he drew his sword. The others saw it and the killing started.
Okay, now, he just said one of Mordred's knights saw an adder and he drew his sword and the killing started. If we assume his ship is Arthur and the other ship is Mordred, right? He says that one of Mordred's knights saw the adder and drew his sword, when really he was the one who saw the adder and fired his shot. Or he's talking about them arriving with their gun ports open.
Maybe. I think it might be.
But I don't think that's, because what strikes me about this is here, he is actually shifting blame off of himself. He is assigning what he did actually to somebody else. But when in reality, that's actually what he did.
Except he didn't see, this is where I get hung up on the thing. And I don't like belittle his trauma. It's still a super traumatic thing, but he didn't see anything. He didn't react to anything. He wasn't like, oh, I'm going to shoot them.
Yeah.
They're like, he's like, fire, aye. Yes, sir. And pulled the trigger, which we'll see, I think, here in a little bit.
Sure.
I took some DNA samples from Arthur, in case we might find something in the genetic record files. You see, everyone who joins Earth Force has his unique DNA sequence mapped and logged for identification purposes.
He was in Earth Force doing what?
Take a look.
You can't show this.
Marcus, it's who he is.
I don't care. Kill him.
Wait now. Let's be sensible, all right? This is the first step towards healing him.
Can't just let him wander around the rest of his life thinking that he's King Arthur.
Why not?
Because this is the truth.
Better the illusions that exalt us than 10,000 truths.
Alexander Pushkin, yes.
Let this one truth die, Stephen. Let it be Arthur. Let it be anyone he wants.
I have an obligation to help. Now, if I confront him with this, it may be enough to snap him out of this delusion.
Your Hippocratic oath says do no harm. If you do this, you'll be doing great harm, Stephen. Stephen!
I'm sorry.
We don't know anything about dealing with mental health at this point in society. So, I mean, I'm just going to go shake him out of it.
So this would be the place where Jeff and Brent would really bag on Franklin. Because he's right no matter what.
Even though here he is very wrong.
Do you still think he's wrong right now?
I do. I think he's right in that he can't be Arthur forever. But he's very wrong in, I'm going to blast him with this information that'll shock him back to who he is. Because I'm Dr. Franklin.
I'm not so sure. He's going to tell him the truth of who he is. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, there's a way to do it.
I don't see it as bad as I did the first time around, is what I'm saying.
I don't see it as badly as the first time, but I still think he's very wrong and thinks he's very right.
Oh, he definitely thinks he's very right. Yeah.
Well, he seems a
quite
decent
handsome,
and
if I say so
honorable
myself.
man, but I don't know him.
It's you.
Doesn't even look like me.
I don't think so.
David McIntyre, age 52. Serial
Brother
number
of WWE champion Drew McIntyre.
Honorable discharge from Earth Force,
Whoa,
February
whoa,
9th,
whoa.
2053.
Stop.
7A59.
Who just clicked the more info button?
It literally says more info.
No, watch it. I'm going to rewind it, and I want you to watch it. The button gets clicked.
But no one's clicking it.
He doesn't have a mouse pad in his hand. He doesn't reach up and touch the screen. Like we understand as a computer that this is a graphic they're recording and all that sort of stuff. Somebody somewhere is sitting there with the mouse button clicking more info to get it to move on. Like they really built this as a web page or something. And that's what they're putting up there. Seriously, watch it. It gets clicked.
David McIntyre.
Watch the button.
Age 52. Serial number.
Yep.
It got clicked.
59.
Did you see it?
I did.
Honorable discharge from Earth Force, February 9th.
I'm going to say it's dungeon crawler Carl technology where he just thinks it and it presses it.
Well, in our chat, our council chambers chat, there's a few ideas in there. Michael says it could be eye tracking.
Okay,
We've got Google Glass and stuff like that in the future, sure. Delenn says they can use buttons on their link to operate the screens, which we do know.
Yep, that's true.
We do know that's true. It's possible that Franklin could have reached over and touched something on his link. We just didn't see it because it was off screen. That's entirely possible. Andy says that it's Babylon 5 Bluetooth.
B5B.
And Andrew says it's the future. Ghosts are working on the station now. Nia says voice activation as Franklin's talking. It just automatically knows. So, and Suzanne, to cap it all off.
Sacrilege.
It's the Harlan Ellison AI coming back.
Never again.
Suzanne wins this whole conversation.
Never again.
It also shows you were gunnery sergeant on the Prometheus.
That's the ship in Stargate.
Prometheus brought fire from the gods.
This Prometheus was the first ship to encounter the Minbari.
Today?
10 years ago today.
Ooh.
Now, there was a misunderstanding. The Minbari approached with their gun ports open. It's a sign of respect. The captain, he interpreted this as a threat. He panicked.
8,000 clicks. 7,000. They're coming in. Gun ports are open. Repeat, gun ports are open. Presume attack vector.
This has nothing to do with me.
You joined the military.
I did not, but go ahead.
We're just going to walk down a little alternate path.
Okay.
In the Allen history. You join the military, the Navy, as a gunner's mate.
Okay.
You go to school, you're trained to shoot and blow things up and ultimately kill people. Like,
okay.
We're the military. That's what we're there for. And then you do it. As I'm saying this, I'm talking myself out of where I was going. I'm like, was his response reasonable? They believe they're being threatened by this freaking monster of a ship they've never seen before.
Yeah.
He does the thing he's been trained to do. In fact, he probably actually did it during the Dilgar War, is going to be my guess. So he's like, oh God, is that, I don't know if that's a reasonable response.
It's not a reasonable response. Okay. You're 100% right about that. There's a couple of things that immediately come to my mind. I'm going to give you a couple scenarios where I think this becomes plausible, but then I'm going to tell you what I think is really going on.
Okay.
I think a part of what could really be plausible. Have you ever done, like, you've done training, you've gone to something, you've done it, and then when the moment arrived, you couldn't do it, or it was really hard for something, like you thought you were ready, you prepared for it, you'd done the thing.
Oh yeah.
But when the time actually comes, you chicken out, or you really struggle with it in the moment, or something of that nature. That could be something that's happening here. This is a guy who never should have been a gunner's mate. He never should have been in that position because he truly can't handle it. But he thought he could. He went through. He passed all the certifications. He did the training, So that could be a thing that's happening here. What I really think is happening here, and Ben says it in the chat, and I fully agree with Ben. I don't think that what we saw there is what actually happened in history. I think what we saw was current David McIntyre embodying body of former David McIntyre, and the closing the eyes and the response is his guilt now.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Flashing back into the past.
Okay. That makes sense. I get that.
That's the way I interpret that particular scene. I don't think that that's what he probably did in the moment, because you're right. As far as they knew, they were getting ready to get blown out of the sky. He's looking back on, oh my God, I'm the one who started the war because I pushed the button.
Exactly. And he's like, oh God.
Yeah.
The attack destroyed 2 Minbari vessels and killed their leader, Dukat, and started the Earth-Minbari War. Now, you were gunnery sergeant on the Prometheus. You fired those shots.
No, it was the sword that struck the adder that started the battle.
No, it was not a sword. It was a
So
ship.
here he's going back to, it wasn't his fault. It was Mordred's fault. It wasn't his fault. It was Mordred's fault, right?
Shining off it.
Absolved you of all responsibility for following.
I was going to hold this for them, but now bears the thing. I actually very much decried Michael York's performance in this episode the first time around. Okay. I didn't grow up with Michael York. I don't have the nostalgia for Michael York. I don't have the love for Michael York that a lot of people do coming into this. Okay. I don't.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist within me. So I'm judging his performance based on what I see here. So far, he's a damn good actor.
Yeah.
He has played this role, and even this part right here, to perfection. There is a part coming up in a moment that sticks in my memory. I'm interested to see my response in just a few moments. That's the part that I have a problem with. But so far, like, his struggling to go back and forth with breaking with what actually happened versus what he's trying to convince. I think at this point he's trying to convince himself. I think when we saw him talking to G'Kar, he knew the truth. He was trying to convince himself. You ever tell a lie, and you tell a lie enough times that you want to believe it, but you actually know the truth, but you're going to stick to the lie, and you're just trying to convince, like, this is, maybe, I don't know, you buff your high school football resume a little bit. Al Bundy,
right?
like
4 touchdowns in one game.
Right. Yeah. Did he really though? Hey, you know what I did though? For real? I went through 4 defensive tackles in one game.
That's pretty great.
Broke 2 arms, gave 1 dude a concussion. The 4th guy, I was just like, dude, just stand there. I won't hurt you. That's a true story.
Watching your kid play makes so much more sense now.
Yes, it does. I love it. Anyway, I'm going to retract what I said about Michael York's performance the first time around. He is doing fantastic. And I see why people love him so much. And I see why he was such a big get. And this in the hands of a lesser actor would be really, really bad. I think he's doing really great right now.
In the orders of your commanding officer. Now, despite bouts of depression that continue to get longer and
if
more
we could see in
intense,
his
he would
mind
go
right
back into
now,
active
you
duty.
would have David McIntyre and King Arthur fighting. Like it's that scene.
They died in the Minbari War.
I was responsible.
No.
Responsible for my knights and for those who followed me into battle. And their armor was not strong enough to protect them. Their horses were on fire.
He's doing such a great job. This is powerful acting.
The old wound.
The old wound, yes. Pain of memory. You can face it. We can face it.
Here's the thing. This is the way Brent's interpreting what's happening right now. He knows who he is, and he's trying to convince himself that it's this other thing, right? Not that he really thinks he's Arthur, and he's truly believing all of that. I don't think he really believes he's Arthur. I think he really knows who he is and what's going on, and he's trying to convince himself otherwise. That's what I'm saying. I think this is all an act from him.
Yeah, I think
it
the
actually
exact
makes more
opposite.
sense to me. You think it's the exact opposite?
Yeah, it's a defense mechanism his brain has put forward for him. Like it's an actual mental thing.
I think it might be. I think there's a big piece of it that might be that, but I think or maybe I better say the real David McIntyre is breaking through, and he's fighting against the real David McIntyre breaking through.
Yes, yeah.
And he's like, the pain. It's like, no, that's not the pain, dude. That's just your heart. Like,
well, what it is, it's unprocessed guilt, right? When you have feelings, they don't go away because you don't process them. And part of he constructed this King Arthur thing, his own Arthurian legend. And now that like David is breaking out, so is the guilt. And that guilt is physically, like it hurts because it's been sitting for so long.
But this is his coping mechanism.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's why I go back to it. He doesn't really believe he's Arthur. This is just his coping mechanism with how he's doing it. By the way, I also want to say this about Franklin. In no way, shape, or form does Franklin beat him over the head like a club with this information. The way Dr. Franklin is putting this out to him, I feel is very measured, is compassionate, but truthful. I don't think that he's just bashing him over the head like a club. He is presenting this, and he is with him compassionately. Actually, like I'm looking at just the shot that we froze this on is like, this is a guy doing medical work here, helping this guy through. So I don't know. That's just my interpretation. I don't see Dr. Franklin being a big boo-boo on this particular episode. I really don't.
I think he's doing it with a tremendous amount of compassion. I still think it's the wrong way to do this. And I think that like in 1996, this was probably the way to do this.
Sure.
2026, we know much better, and this isn't how you do it. But through its time.
Sure. And I'll fully confess, even in 2026, I'm not a mental health professional. I don't know the right way to do it. This seems okay to me.
I can never rest. The pain will never go away. I must return.
This is the part I have a problem with.
The Lady of the Lake.
This is actually okay.
I didn't know.
Okay, him holding his hands out in this dream sequence, this makes no sense to me.
Couldn't know.
Bodies slain. The dying. Bodies drifting.
This is either a writing, a directing, something. This is the part that gets me right now. Dude, if he pulled this sword out and tried to off himself with it,
yeah.
My fault.
Now he's going to grab the sword, but wait, the sword is in... Wait, now it's behind him, and this part right here... Come on now. I don't...
David?
Okay. The idea that this really is happening to him in his head or otherwise, I'm not processing right now. The symbolism of what's happening here, let's dive into that.
Yeah.
Because I think it's fantastic. Okay. He holds the sword. The sword is a sign of his guilt. He picks his sword up. He's not brandishing it like a weapon. He's holding it delicately.
It's an offering.
Right? He's holding it out. He begins to pull the thing out, almost like he's going to do something with it. And all of a sudden, in his dream, as he's reaching for his guilt, he's going to accept it. He's going to receive it. It transfers magic, and it stabs him in the back. And it puts him in this whatever catatonic state he's now in. The idea, Jeff, you used the phrase unresolved guilt a few moments ago. Folks, this is what unresolved guilt can do to you. It can set you into a catatonic state. You can't carry... The human mind, the human brain is not designed to carry guilt like this. And the thing is, regardless if it's misplaced guilt or not, can we agree that his guilt is misplaced?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He should not be feeling like he is responsible for this. Yes, he pushed the button. Yes, he did all of that. He was acting out of under orders. He was acting because the Minbari, right, wrong, or indifferent, culturally misunderstanding or not, they approached gun ports open, and in most other cultures, that means war. And the Minbari have been around long enough that they know that that is the case for other cultures. They should not have done it like that. The Minbari are the ones who insisted that their way is the right way, that their way is the cultural way, that they're going to approach everything according to their customs, and everybody has to bend to their rules. Knowing, and I'm assuming that they knew just because of their length in the galaxy interacting with other cultures, that is generally not the way people approach new people. Okay. But his guilt that he put upon himself has been gnawing at him for, what do we say, 15 years.
Yeah.
Humankind, we are not meant to carry guilt like that.
Nope.
We have to deal with it. In one way or another, we have to deal with it. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pontificate and prescribe the way to deal with guilt every single time, because there's no one way, and every single time, no. I will simply say, if you're carrying guilt, find a mental health, find somebody, find a stranger. I find strangers. I don't need somebody that I know. I need a stranger. That's the way Brent operates, right? Somebody who can help me, that I can talk to, that's not going to be interacting with me in my everyday life, right? But if you're carrying guilt, whether you believe you deserve it or not, you need to figure it out. Do the work with it. It is really, I think, what we're showing here, because unresolved guilt like this maybe not literally lead to a severe psychotic break and lead to a catatonic state. Maybe not literally. Maybe for some people it is very literal.
Yeah.
For most people, probably not that literal. But metaphorically, it can freeze us in time. I know people who have carried around, I've known people who've carried around grudges, and it froze them in time.
Yeah.
To go back to one of our favorite Star Trek quotes, you live here.
Yep.
Why do you live here? You have to get past here.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what that is, go watch the pilot episode of Deep Space Nine.
So I think in this case, what has happened to him ultimately is he had the guilt from firing the weapon, pulling the trigger, essentially. But like we found out in this, he kept volunteering and showing up for more. He wanted to die. Like he was carrying this and wanted to not experience it anymore. All the way through the Battle of the Line, right? Which we saw, and it's horrifyingly traumatic and horrific. And he survived all of that. So he broke whatever that was. And part of that breaking was he had so much guilt. He was survivor's guilt, the guilt of being the one who pulled the trigger, that he had to just go away. I can't exist in this body anymore. I can't be here. It's dissociation.
Right.
And not disassociation, but dissociation. It's a different thing. But you can't not have something inside of you, right? And so a thing that was meaningful to him as a person, to David McIntyre, showed up and took that place. And as King Arthur, he can right the wrongs. He can go get the picture in the picture frame for the old lady. It doesn't save 250,000 people, but it starts to heal that wound a little bit. But what Franklin has done here is essentially created the conflict inside of his brain. David McIntyre, who hasn't been present for a very long time, King Arthur, bringing David McIntyre back. In this moment, when that sword plunged into his back, David McIntyre opened his eyes for the first time in 15 years. And he's like, oh my God, I cannot. And so he shuts down. He's got so much just like stuff that has to happen before he can even open his eyes and like accept any sort of reality. So I think of this really in a real way as like the real person hasn't experienced reality for a very long time.
Maybe. But the message, the lesson, we have to deal with our guilt.
Yeah.
Misplaced or not, we have to deal with it. We have to deal with it. And the thing is, we can't tell you how to deal with it. It's different for each person. Like it's so much easier said than done. Can we acknowledge that?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and for those of you who are in the middle of working, if you need to start working through it, Jeff and I are here cheering you on saying, get to it. If you're in the middle of working through it, Jeff and I are here cheering you on saying, stay with it, take it a day at a time. And if you have dealt with it and you've come to the other side of it and you're comfortable with it, please send us an email. Jeff and I would love to hear your story.
Absolutely.
Can you hear me?
So while for the most part,
David,
I'm not saying this can't ever happen in reality. This is not what actually happens in reality with stuff like this, generally speaking. I don't think it does. I could be wrong.
It does sort of.
Anything yet?
I just got word from the
But I'm going with the metaphorical side of this.
For what's left of the league.
Like,
a number of them refused to sign the Mutual Defense Treaty, but
I think, I mean, it's not a beat for beat, like this is how it goes down, but I think pretty darn close to this happens.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean,
go
watch or read Moon Knight. That's another story, but like
the Marvel thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Also, I'm talking reality, not other fiction. Like,
well, I am too. This is how, like, this is not an unheard of thing.
I'm not saying that it can never happen, but by and large, that's like when you come to that spot, like there's a I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I need to stop talking. I need to stop talking.
Excalibur, symbol of the king.
Yeah, but in this case, it's the symbol of the ship and his pain. What's the story?
So right here, and this is where I'm going to go back and appeal to everything we're seeing here is really just supposed to be metaphor. Because Franklin's taking everything. Okay, this is a metaphor. This is a metaphor. This is explaining this. This is explaining this. This is explaining this. And then we're going to stay with the metaphor, and that's what's going to solve this whole situation. As we know, is getting ready to happen here in just a few moments.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think, again, that's where I like this whole piece becomes more like metaphor. And the part that seals this still for me, at least in my mind, and we'll see here in just a few minutes if it stays, it's all of a sudden he's just better. And he's off and they're going to take him and let him go be like a military leader in Narn or something like that. Like, what?
Yeah.
What? Like, no, this guy needs some more work to do. But if the whole episode and the whole thing with David here really is taken more as metaphor, as allegorical, I find all of this much more palatable and much more acceptable. If you're expecting me to believe that this is an actual story of something that really happened within this universe to a real person, particularly where the knight stabs, like, this is the part that it goes a little over the top for me and where I am. The metaphor, I think, is beautiful with where he's got, and he's in the state and he's still clutching the sword. He's still clutching his guilt. He's clutching his guilt. How do we get and here's the thing. Here's the other thing, Jeff, that I hadn't thought about till this very moment. I keep talking about him and him dealing with it. We see Franklin and Marcus here trying to help him.
Yeah.
What is this saying about responsibility is not the right word, but about what it is for us as human beings to help our other fellow human beings in need, to help them figure out their stuff, right?
Yeah.
To carry their load for them, to help them get the help they need, to help them get to the resolution that they need to be to. Marcus is in it with him, man. Marcus is personally invested, and frankly, so is Dr. Franklin.
Well, we see this from Marcus a lot.
We see this from Franklin a lot.
Yeah, they get side by
side. It might be right, wrong, or indifferent, but Franklin's invested in people's lives, trying to help them. Sorry, keep going.
I was just going to say, though, it's a thing from Marcus. We also saw it from Arthur in this on a different scale, but like, I'm going to go down and do these things. I think it goes down to, if you're suffering, I'm suffering.
And there's an interesting thing. So here's Arthur, a person who's going and helping other people, seeing people and helping people. He sees an old woman and he sees a person and he goes to help that person, right? Now he is the one in need of help. Because and there's the thing, he can't solve this on his own.
Right.
He can't fix it. He's in such a state where he is so far gone, he cannot solve it on his own. And here's Marcus and Franklin still concerned. They're not just writing him off being like, bah, not like what I did in the first watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're staying with him. Now we've got to figure this out. We've got to help him. Got to help our little buddy Arthur over there.
Now, he said he couldn't know peace or rest until the lady took back Excalibur, the king's burden.
King's pain. That's why he came here. To find someone.
Okay, not specifically looking for Delenn.
Right, yeah.
But if that's Excalibur and you're Bedivere, who's the Lady of the Lake?
Any female Minbari. Does it have to even be female, Jeff?
I don't think so.
Could it be any Minbari? Yeah.
I think that there's like, hey, we actually have like one of the best ones here. Let's go grab her.
Literally a representative of the entire race. Who, by the way, has been transformed and somehow understands you. Also, the way he's handling that sword is clearly plastic. Like, swords are heavier than that. Please tell me there's a note from JMS that this was like a real sword from somewhere.
Yeah, no note on the sword, just the chainmail.
Oh, man. Because he flipped that thing like it was weighed nothing.
I want to call out just how incredible Delenn is here. She owes this guy nothing, right?
Right.
This is just some Earth Force guy who's got a thing, but here she is giving her whole self to him.
But this is more of the same thing of what we were just talking about with Marcus and Franklin. They owe him nothing.
Right? Yeah. And they're totally
giving their
there.
whole self trying to help him out.
Yeah.
Right? They are invested in somebody who, whatever. Now, think about the connection here right now. That Delenn knows, he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
If Delenn knows who this guy is, he's the guy who pushed the button. He's the guy who started the war. He's the guy who, okay, did Dukat die in the first volley?
Pretty much.
Okay, so this is the guy who pushed the button that killed Dukat.
Yeah.
Right? She has every right to be bitter with this guy. And she has gone in here to, not just to help him, but, I mean, to meet him and to maybe, I mean, did she even know what she was walking into? Like, Did she know how she was going to respond? You ever been in one of those, like, look, I don't know how I'm going to respond going into this.
Right, yeah, let's see what happens.
You know, but I'm going to go in. And she goes through this whole piece. I don't think they say a word to each other here.
What I think is interesting is you could make the argument that David started the war. You can make the argument that Delenn started the war. The reality is there's so much more going on. Neither one of them actually did, but both of them carry all the guilt of starting the war.
Yeah. These two right here.
Right here.
Right here. And both people, I think we could say, inappropriately carry the guilt of the war.
Agreed. Yeah. They shouldn't be
Delenn's like,
this.
she was the last vote. It was split 50-50 and she was the deciding vote. And so now it's her fault. No, it wasn't your fault.
Yeah, those
you
other
just happened
people
to be the last one to cast your vote.
Yeah. What if you were the second person? Then it's somebody else's fault? No.
What if you were how many people are there? There's 9. What if you were the 8th person on the council to cast your vote? Then somebody else gets or you will have already decided because you would have been number 4.
Yeah.
So no, it's not your fault. Okay. Hey, David McIntyre. It's not your fault, dude. It's not your fault. And Ben pointed out just kind of the neatness here of he passes this sword to her. She accepts it and receives it. And, 16 episodes later, we get to Atonement. And now she has to deal with this guilt.
Yeah.
That maybe he passed on to her, which actually I think she's been carrying it secretively the whole way. It's just not sent her into this state here.
Yeah.
But can we also stop and go with, again, the metaphor? Because this again just works with me way better as an allegory than it does taking it as actual something legitimate in science fiction, because it's all fiction. He is able to release, look what happens when he is able to release this guilt. He has been clutching. He has been hanging on to the freedom that can bring almost instantaneously.
Yeah. That's where beautiful. I lose this episode.
What do you mean?
The instantaneous release of everything?
If I'm with you, if you interpret this as a real story that's supposed to really be happening, which we are, but if you just take this on the metaphorical side, on the parable side.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It works beautiful.
Yeah. Put 1 ounce of reality into it and it's ridiculous.
It falls apart so fast. But given everything in there, I again retract what I said. Michael York has acted his ass off.
Yeah, big time. It's fantastic.
I think it's what I need to do.
My people will treat him well, Doctor. He will be welcomed and put in
That's the problem.
And resistance.
Send him to Narn. Let him heal. Don't put him in a position of authority.
About organizing others into something better and nobler than they had been before. We are in great need of such ideas, such men.
A new round.
JMS says, in answer to the question, will we hear more about Arthur's exploits with the Narn? Nope. Not going to hear any more about that. But and to take that and put it with some of the chatter in the chat right now, they can't afford Michael York again. They have to wrap a bow on this in this one little episode and send it off.
I wonder how much Michael York charged them for this episode.
More than $8.
Well, but I mean, like, did he come in? Surely he didn't come in at like the union minimum to throw him a bone. No. I'm sure they blew a couple episodes budget on him for this one. Yeah.
Well, I guess I've heard worse ideas in my time. I just wish you could stay just
a it's a good idea, actually.
Sure you're okay.
Doctor, I'm healed.
God, if only it was just like, hey,
one journey is ended.
I'm good now.
Another beckons.
It's mission accomplished.
What did he say there? Hold on just a sec.
One journey is ended. Another beckons.
That's interesting. One journey ends and another begins. The being able to turn the page, move on. Also, again, going back to the metaphor, okay? Holding on to this guilt, holding on to this will separate your body and your spirit.
Yeah.
And it is only until you can release that your body and spirit can become one again and you can move forward and turn the page. Because as long as you live here, you can't turn the page. I don't know what it takes to deal with it. I wish I had that answer. I don't. But, and Ben points out that's what Lorien says to Sheridan in Sleeping in Light. This journey ends and another begins.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
Next thing you'll be saying is he's not Merlin. Merlin was a great teacher, you know.
I'm not hearing this.
They say he aged backwards. That was how he was able to foretell the future, by remembering it. Maybe he had Arthur form the round table by remembering us. We're forming one of our own, after all.
No, he's Bedivere.
On this, JMS says, regarding Marcus's...
Wait, stop. Can I make a prediction?
Okay.
I haven't read this. This is based solely on all the freaking comments that we got the first time around. Franklin's going to be somebody and he's going to be somebody. But we asked the question, who's Morgana Le Fay? Is that where he's going with this?
Kinda.
Because it's just one of those. So many people ask the damn question. This is not an individual coming up with the idea or 50,000 people all coming up with the same idea. Somebody put this idea out there and everybody leaps onto it. It's exactly how that works. Go ahead, Jeff. What's he have to say?
Yeah, not in this case. He just simply says, sometimes offhand remarks are only offhand remarks, and sometimes they ain't.
He said it somewhere. Somebody has said it somewhere.
So the question is...
It's very much hey, if the plot needs it, it'll mean something. If it doesn't, Marcus just said a thing.
If the plot needs it. Sometimes an offhand remark is just an offhand remark, and sometimes it ain't. Yeah. Was that in direct response to a question about who is Morgana Le Fay?
Yeah. Well, who is he talking about? Why did he say that? What's it going to lead to? There were multiple comments.
Where people asked that?
Yeah. Went on and on. Well, Brent, you hit it pretty hard during the episode itself. You apologized at the beginning. You've recanted a number of your statements. Is there anything else that you want to say on this one?
You know, Jeff, I have broken one of my chief rules of podcasting all throughout this episode. One of those rules is if I don't have personal experience with a situation or I'm not an expert in a situation, I just try not to comment on it at all. I don't have a lot of experience with psychotic breaks. I don't have a lot of experience with helping people through psychotic breaks or what it takes to medically clear all of that sort of stuff. I certainly have had experience, though, with what it means to carry guilt and the damage that can do to your soul and having to work through that. I've never had to go through it with professionals like this. Not carrying guilt. I've had my other stuff I've had to deal with professionals, but not with this particular thing. But I have had to deal with those things, but it's never been on this. And so I have commented a lot on what I think is real or what I don't think is real and where I find things hard to believe, what I find actually a bit offensive at how they deal with stuff. And you know, do I want to address this or not? I'm seeing one in the chat right now, and I expect to see more in comments later. A few I told you so's. Okay, because one of the criticisms that I received the first time around was, it's just your expectations. You didn't what you thought was going to happen didn't happen, so you were pissed off. That's not why I didn't like the episode. I didn't like the episode because I didn't like the episode because I thought it handled things really, really poorly and really, really badly. And right now I've been telling you, I've repeatedly said, I don't think this is how it really goes down. And I don't like you asking me this to believe that this is something real that happened with this particular guy. I can now accept it as a metaphor. I can set aside the idea that you're asking me to believe this in real. And when I look at this as an allegory, when I look at this as a metaphor, it's a beautiful episode all the way through. The stuff about Garibaldi, the stuff about Jakar, it's hilarious. Yeah, it's great. Marcus is fantastic. Franklin, actually, I know you shat on him for most of the episode last time, and you're still kind of there with him right now. I think Marcus is a gosh dang hero right now. But not Marcus, Franklin. I think Franklin's a gosh dang hero.
Yeah.
And because even though he talks about, I'm just gonna tell him the truth. When we watched the way he handled it, he was measured, he was compassionate, he handled it like a pro. And again, not a health professional. I can't tell you that that's the way it should have been done, but based on just my own personal lay watching, I really liked. I thought Franklin handled himself and accorded himself very well. And the whole thing about like his stim addiction and thinking he's better than everybody and all that kind of stuff, I didn't catch a whiff of that in this episode. I do remember thinking it the first time I watched it though.
Yeah.
I still have trouble believing and coming up with this idea that he's immediately healed and he can go be put in a position of authority somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, no. But again, if this is metaphor, if this is allegory, totally cool with it. And I think this is certainly a much better episode than what I gave it credit for the first time around. But I have to still put it with the caveat of if it's metaphor. If it's real, I think it plays fast and loose with some rather serious issues that I'm not really even that qualified to talk about. JMS, psychologist, shit, maybe he knows more than I do. I'm sure he does. Actually, I'm sure he does. Okay, I'll give him that. But I don't see it. So I don't know. Those are some thoughts I had. Jeff, how about you, man?
You know, on the point of it being like, oh, he's just better or whatever, and that it really bothers me. Also, it's a product of its time. I mean, how many times did we see Picard live an entire lifetime and then die, and then just, next week he's fine? Or O'Brien serve a 20-year sentence and murder his cellmate, and then, next week I'm fine. So it's like, this isn't just this episode thing. That's just a thing.
All of those times, there was one episode where they dealt with the fallout of it afterwards. And that was after the Best of Both Worlds with the episode of Family.
Right.
Other than that, it was reset at the end of the episode and move on. Also, product of the time, Jeff. Also, a product of, this is a 42-minute story.
Yeah, that's
got to move it forward. Like, I can totally accept that as well.
Yeah, it was almost criminal what they missed out on by not following up. And this is a one-time guy who shows up and does the thing. And I think if you look at the mechanics of this episode, it was an opportunity to talk about guilt and trauma and to give us some backstory on the Earth-Minbari War that's going to set up stuff for Delenn down the road that I think is really important.
Which we would only know being on our second watch.
So, watching this for the second time, this is an entirely different episode. I stand by everything I said the first time, except for the stuff with Franklin. I was way over the top with Franklin the first time. But on its own, without knowing the breadth of the Minbari conflict that we know now, having gone through everything, not knowing the stuff with Delenn, not knowing where things end up, it was not a good episode.
The first time around,
first time around.
Yes.
Second time around, it's great. There's some really cool connections to things. I loved Michael York's acting. I
thought he did great with this one.
Did fantastic.
I don't know what the hell was wrong with me the first time around.
Well, because the first time around, the whole thing, I think both of us were wrapped up in this isn't a good concept. Like this, or not good execution of a concept.
Yeah.
And honestly, okay, so on our Patreon, I was doing and will continue here soon, reactions to a show that JMS did directly after Babylon 5 called Jeremiah.
Yeah.
It stars Luke Perry. That alone is a reason to watch it. Also has Malcolm Jamal Warner in a lead. It's a fantastic show. Episode number 2 is called Man of Iron, Woman Under Glass. And it's the exact same episode. It's a kid, though. Like, it's a younger kid who's carrying this trauma. He watched his parents get murdered. And he ended up not being King Arthur, but being the superhero from a comic book that he'd been reading. He loved this comic, and so he became that person.
Okay.
Superheroes put themselves into situations that are very... In fact, I said that during the episode. I want the spinoff of the superhero in Down Below. Like King Arthur going down and saying, hey, that dude stole your picture-in-picture frame. I'm going to get him. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's what this kid was doing in the episode. The way that it played out in Jeremiah was this kid was just this guy. He wore the costume. He went and did this stuff. When you called him out on it, he was like, oh, yeah, no, you just don't understand because, there's this and you don't know the whole picture. He was 100% this superhero guy. And as you learned more, there's more of a one-to-one connection of like, oh, this happened, so he's seen it this way. And it wasn't I'm going to retell the story of the conflict with the Minbari through the story of Arthur. It was, this guy is a hero. And this guy would stop the bad things I experienced from happening, and I'm going to do that. Which to me made a lot more sense. Not like I have to I'm going to fix it. I think where it also was better. Spoiler alert, if you're going to watch this, skip ahead a little bit. In Jeremiah, the kid died. Ooh. He was the hero, and he saved the day, but he died because of it, because turns out he's not actually a superhero. And it made more sense. It was more real. It was more what happened. Now, I get that's not the story he's trying to tell him. That's a whole different thing, right? In Jeremiah, they're trying to tell the story of the impact of the big death and all this new world that they've been living in for a couple of years. But it's a different thing. But it was executed so much more effectively than it was here. Even with Michael York carrying this like a champ, there are times it felt cartoony. Times it felt kind of a little too far to the side of reality. And where I think it's really unfortunate and there's a missed opportunity is the idea of dissociation to the point of creating a different persona is a very real thing that happens somewhat frequently. I do have experience with handling psychotic breaks and people being in the middle of psychosis. And this is what it looks like up until the point where he's like, hey, I'm better. But that whole thing of like, as they do emerge from the thing, they're frozen. They're not capable of existing in the world. that does so much damage. Holding on to that guilt to take it back to the message, holding on to that guilt and not letting it go, creating that entire persona around the real pain does so much damage to your brain, like physically. They say that the neurons that fire together wire together. Like it literally reshapes your brain. And so as you go through the process, because it's supposed to be a process that takes a good chunk of time of emerging from it with like a number of professionals and stuff like that, not just Dr. Franklin telling you the story very compassionately, but in a couple of minutes breaking it down. As you emerge, it is very common that like, hey, this person, they're going to be down for 72 hours. We might not hear from them for 2 weeks. It's not uncommon at all. So I think they hit some things very appropriately.
Yeah.
And some things were just too far. Like the vignettes they showed in the black and white. What a great idea. The concept was cool. It didn't
work.
It didn't work.
Yeah.
That came off.
And maybe that's what I'm feeling, because again, the whole, like, he's going through, he's holding his hands out like he has the sword in it, but in the dream, he doesn't have the sword. Like, I could see that reversed. In the dream, he has the sword in his hand. So in reality, he's actually standing there with his hands up and nothing's in his freaking hand.
Yeah, because he's carrying his guilt.
That would make sense to me. You know, flip-flopping it just doesn't make sense to me. And all that. So I do want to say this. Okay, to reiterate one more time, I'm not a mental health professional. This is not something I've ever had to deal with. I'm just responding based on stuff that I know how to respond. If I've said anything incorrect or out of line, or I have offended anybody out there based on my own ignorance, I own that and I apologize for it, because I really am not meaning to offend anyone. It's just my response that I have based on my own personal limited information. That whole vignette thing where he gets stabbed, like, if that's supposed to be what's happening in his mind,
the metaphor was beautiful.
I just don't get it.
Yeah,
but the metaphor is great.
Yeah, but the whole in its totality, that thing, it just didn't hit. You know, a thing that we love very much is when we talk about the message.
Yeah,
and then JMS comes around and he's like, "Well, actually," and we get that in this one.
Does he?
It's not so direct.
Joe?
There's not so much like a direct message in this one. I feel like this is more of a, we talk about a hope that things can be better in the future. We can be better humans to one another. This isn't like necessarily a how around it. It's like, hey, you saw some of this, now do that also. It says, for all our generosities and our accomplishments, for all of our statutes to decency and optimism, a meanness of spirit and an unhealthy cynicism has crept into the cultural zeitgeist over the last 20 years, 40 years. Okay. To combat this, we must do what is right, only because it is right. Arthur and G'Kar embody that in this episode. They're honorable. They do not act in their own self-interest. What a great example that we should all learn from.
Can I add to that?
Please do, yeah.
Marcus and Franklin also act in a way that is not in their own self-interest. It's not just Arthur and G'Kar. But I find that whole end scene where Marcus and Franklin, like, they won't let it go. They won't just let him be. They're like, no, we can do this. Like, we've got to figure this out. They were getting nothing in return. I promise you, he's not paying that medical bill.
Right, and ever.
You know what I mean? Like, they were getting nothing out of it, just outside of their own personal investment of what it was just to be good human beings to somebody else. There's your message, Jeff.
Right there.
What it is to be good. And we also see that, not taking anything away from what Arthur and G'Kar were doing in their little mission.
Yeah,
And by the way, let's look at what Garibaldi did that was actually just wrong, because he was only about his own self. What was he about? He was about his wallet.
That's it. Exactly. That's
he
my
did all
stuff.
that. Yeah, because it was his wallet.
My mozzarella, my pepperoni.
Well, Jeff, I think it's time. Do you think it's time?
Like, I don't. So you talked about watching this episode, your thing, like, oh, this will be fun. I want to. No, I don't want to do it. I'm at that moment now. I don't want to do this.
Well, Jeff, here's the good news. Whatever you do is going to be 100% completely accurate, definitively correct. Because we are creating our 100% completely accurate and definitive ranking of Babylon 5 Season 3 as we watch it here for the second time. And Jeff, thank God. Thank The good Lord, thank the sisters and the queens who traveled on a boat to pick Arthur up and take him to Avalon. Thank them all that you are the one who has to place this episode. And I'm going to make a challenge to you, Jeff.
Okay.
You are not allowed to take into account in your ranking where we placed this in the first time around, which was at number 22. Because ultimately we found this episode very offensive.
We did.
Okay.
It was number 22 of 21 episodes, by the way, because we combined War Without End.
And 21 was just left blank. Like it was down there. You are not allowed to raise this higher than it should be just because our opinion of the episode has come up. You really have to rank this episode against the other episodes based on its merit, based on their merit. Okay, so if this still is the final episode, that's just because that's where it belongs compared to the other episodes. But Jeff, you are the one who has to make a decision. And Jeff, I'm not even going to try to pick a place for this to go. We have 12 episodes on this season. I am going to, honestly, in a way to buy you a little bit more time, going to read all 12 episodes for this nice little graphic that's going to pop up on the screen here later when we edit it in. Number 12, our worst episode of the season so far. And honestly, the worst episode of the season still ain't the worst episode I've ever seen of TV, is Convictions. Number 11 is Exogenesis with the Bugs. 10, Ceremonies of Light and Dark, our episode from last week. Wow. 2 weeks ago. Matters of Honor is number 9. Day in the Strife is number 8. 7, Voices of Authority. 6, Sick Transit Weir, I think is actually how we're supposed to say it. Top 5, Passing Through Gethsemane. 4, Dust to Dust. 3, Messages from Earth. 2, Point of No Return. And 1, Severed Dreams. Jeff, the time has come. Okay, sometime it's time to just jump out of that airplane and make it happen, son. Where does this episode land in our 100% completely accurate? Nobody in our chat, by the way, is making an actual guess. Outside of a few people saying number 1.
Yeah, it's not that.
They're just being foolish now. But where does this episode find itself truly in a ranking of the season?
So it's not a top 5 episode. Let's just, if anyone's like, oh my gosh, it's going to be, no, not going to be that.
Mm-hmm.
So then is it going to be a top 10 episode, right? And when we look at those episodes and that piece, these are episodes that I think, God, you're right. Like you said, Conviction. There's not a single episode on this list that I wouldn't want to watch again. These are all pretty great.
Like the worst episode is still pretty, it's still a pretty okay episode.
Exactly. There's a lot to like in it still.
Yeah.
So let's start from there, right? So we have Convictions at number 12.
Mm-hmm.
Is A Late Delivery from Avalon better than Convictions? It is. It is.
Honestly, just based on the metaphor alone and what A Late Delivery from Avalon was doing, I agree with you.
Convictions, like I said, it's an okay episode. I remember we talked about how the story to it is actually completely meaningless. They just needed a storytelling structure to talk about some other things, and it was fine. It was fine. Marishi was like the best part of that whole episode.
Right.
So it takes us to Exogenesis. Exogenesis is an episode a lot of people don't care for.
Mm-hmm.
I think we both enjoyed it. We liked it a lot the first time we watched it.
Yeah.
Liked it less the second time because it literally could disappear and no one would ever know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Another Franklin Marcus episode, which this one has a lot of Franklin and Marcus as well, and it was good with the two of them together. So is this better than Exogenesis? Well, this actually has more ties to the arc and the storyline itself than Exogenesis does. It carries on the Franklin and Marcus piece. So yeah, this is better than Exogenesis. Ceremonies of Light and Dark. This was a very Delenn-centric episode.
Yeah.
One of her best.
You think so?
I think so. I think we talked about that a little bit.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
Or I at least thought about it a little bit. Because I really, really liked her in Severed Dreams, right? We saw the 3 versions of her and it was fantastic. And then in Ceremonies of Light and Dark, we got to see her just like kind of all come together. And in a way, it's... What did I say about her? She blew a lot of hot wisdom. She was a bag of hot wisdom in that episode.
Right.
So is this better than Ceremonies of Light and Dark? On balance, Ceremonies of Light and Dark wasn't it a phenomenal episode? I mean, they got the new.
I don't think it was.
They got the new uniforms and stuff. It was okay, but it wasn't great.
It was a good. Palate cleanser is not the right word, but it was we had this big high, and here's what happened next.
Yeah, it was. Well, it was the reset, right? It's the pivot point.
Yeah,
it's the halfway mark.
Right. It's where it's okay. So where do we go from here?
Yeah. It's interesting that we went here next.
In JMS's that next to last episode is like the big wham episode,
right,
of the season, and then his final episode of the season usually is the sort of the denouement, the sending us off, right? It's Ceremonies of Light and Dark was that for that Severed Dreams trilogy.
Yeah, right? It really was.
And then we got Sick Transit Veer, and then here's this one as we get back to our episodic weekly stuff.
Piece of it. I'm going to say that A Late Delivery from Avalon is not better than Ceremonies of Light and Dark.
Okay.
Not by a long shot.
Okay.
But I'm going to make it the number 11 episode on the season.
Interesting. Can I tell you where I would have put it?
Sure.
You're not going to believe me. I would have actually ranked it higher than you.
How much higher?
By a couple of places.
Really?
This to me was better than Ceremonies of Light and Dark.
Okay.
This episode had more to say and did more stuff than Matters of Honor. And I'm looking at this one either above or below A Day in the Strife. And I would have to go back and revisit A Day in the Strife to actually.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. And I like Matters of Honor. I liked Ceremonies of Light and Dark. I'm not saying I'm not saying that but I think this episode had more to do. I think it had more to say. I don't think it goes above Voices of Authority.
Agreed.
Like to me, the line of this season between great, like there's this line of from between Dust to Dust and Passing Through Gethsemane, Dust to Dust and above are phenomenal episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's this other line right between Voices of Authority and Day in the Strife that go from the really good episodes to that was a good hour of TV.
Yeah.
This one to me is below that line, above or below Day in the Strife. I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to revisit Day in the Strife to see that. But that's just so y'all know, it's about where I would place it.
Wow.
But I'm not doing this one. You are, Jeff. So
it's on
this
me.
Is our new number 11. So if you guys don't like that placement, write Jeff.
That's just the way it is. Just the way it is.
People people are falling over shocked in the chat.
I bet. I'll bet.
Like,
look, is this okay? Pinch me.
Right.
What is this?
Right.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, Jeff, that's going to do it. I tell you what, I'm glad to have gone through this experience. I'm also happy to be on the backside of it.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be on the backside of it is what I'm going to say.
Yes.
Happy to be on the backside of it.
Agreed.
But that's going to do it for Late Delivery from Avalon. Jeff, new episode up next week titled Ship O' Tears. Ship O' Tears. I wish I could do an Irish accent because that would just be really funny to me right now. Jeff, do you remember what your prediction was the first time? Not what actually happened, but what you thought this episode might be about the first time we went through it?
I do. I really keyed in on the Babylon treaty that Ivanova was handing out to everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought I was going to pick that up. Refugees are going to start pouring in from various worlds. And specifically, a Drazi ship was going to come and have a group of down and out citizens, some poets, women, children, and the captain is going to start negotiating for peace with the non-aligned worlds because they're it's so bad. We're having to flee with all these people. Can we lean on this treaty for some peace? Do you remember what you predicted?
I do. So I said that this was going to be a ship, the Ship of Tears. This would be like a ship, like a Minbari warship that's kind of like the Widowmaker. Like this is the ship that's just going to blast everybody and take them out of the sky. Like it's going to come back into the frame. I also said the episode wasn't going to be good.
Okay.
I did not have a lot of hope for this episode. I like your idea of it, the Ship of Tears, because it's reminiscent of the one of I'm going to say it's a top 3 darkest stain on the history of our own great country here, Jeff. The Trail of Tears.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's and your idea of what that could potentially be in the going back and forth. I like the idea of what that could have been for where that goes. Jeff, before we move on, because I know we're wrapping this up here, but there was an excellent question, I thought, in the chat that I want to address real quick before we go back.
Okay.
and again, this is more dealing with our first watch and some things we saw. And I think this is actually even in the recap video. I said I rated this on Star Furies. Star Furies back in the day, for those of you who didn't watch our first watch, was we had a Delta rating, which was how strong the messages were, and then we had Star Furies, which was how much we enjoyed the episode and how Babylon 5 it was. And I gave this like a half of a Star Fury for. I think my exact words were, first of all, I didn't like it at all, but also it just didn't do anything in a Babylon 5 way. And they asked me how many Star Furies I would give it now. Which I think is great. And I'm going to actually ask you to say I want you to give your own Star Fury thing, Jeff. But so to look at it now and go, how much did we enjoy this episode? Pure enjoyment of this episode, Jeff. I'm going to say this on a scale of 0 to 5 Star Furies, because we were on a scale of 5 Star Furies, right?
Yeah.
To me, this one would be like a 3.
Okay.
Just on a pure enjoyment level. More than half. Still not the best episode. I listen, Michael York had a big come up for me in this. I still don't love it.
Yeah.
It's a 3. I'm not, this is not a yes, late delivery from Avalon's on the not in the least. It's like, oh, okay, I could maybe watch this episode maybe. As far as how Babylon 5 it was though, and that's where I really want it. Like, Jeff, I think there's an inherent thing that says how Babylon 5 is something is really saying how Joe Michael Straczynski is this episode.
Okay, yeah.
We've gotten to know JMS from a distance over the last couple of years through his autobiography, through interactions that we've seen him have with the public, a couple that we've happened to have, but mostly through his work, right? And JMS is a guy who I think you can know through his work.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
If you want to know who JMS is as a person, look at his work. And so I think asking just how Babylon 5 or how JMS is this episode, Jeff, this is a very JMS episode. If I think this is him. Maybe it was executed better when he did Jeremiah. There's a reason he redid the episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? I think this is an episode that he's very proud of this episode. There's a lot that I think he poured into this episode that I shat on all over the place in the first one. I wasn't the only one, folks. You did it too. I just was intense about it. But regardless, I think this is a very JMS episode. And so I think putting those two things together, this is probably about a 4 Star Fury. Like, I'm gonna meet it in the middle. 5 for how Babylon 5, 3 for how much I enjoyed it. I'm gonna meet it in the middle at 4 Star Furies, I think is where I would come back to it. And that's my reasoning for that.
Yeah.
Maybe 3.5. How about you? If you were doing Star Furies on this based on it now, where would you go? You said you thought it was worth no Star Furies.
Yeah, I did
the first time. Where would you place it?
I would not give it as many as you did, for sure. And
I just wanted to note, Jeff ranks it lower than Brent both times.
Yeah, at least I'm consistent, right? I'm not the one over here pandering to everybody and being like, "Oh, you want me?"
Oh, wow.
You're not pandering. That's not happening. Yeah.
No, I'm never going to be mad at you just because you're the golden boy, right?
Apparently. No, so I think that like how Joe Michael Straczynski is, it's quite, but it's also not what he wanted it to be. He's fond of it, but then he went and did it better. The fact that he wanted to do it better backs up like this just didn't work. This to me would be 2.5. Probably Star Furies.
Yeah, I mean, but you're basing that based on your sheer enjoyment of the episode, not necessarily.
I think
how
both.
5 it is.
I think both.
Is it for you both? Okay.
Yeah, and I'm saying that's like the way he did it in Jeremiah would have been more Babylon 5 because he killed a kid, but like he gave someone a happy ending, and I mean it happens. It absolutely happens, but that's not the Babylon 5 way of doing things. They get realistic endings. And all of a sudden being fine and going off and having a position of authority and influence on Narn, doing the resistance, like that's a Star Trek ending.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. We'll let it be. Jeff, that is going to put a bow on late delivery from Avalon, and it is time for us to move off. Shippeteers up next week. Predictions, the bank.
They're in, so if you want to check them out, make sure you are. We're going to be in the same place you are right now, listening or watching or whatever. So subscribe. While you're there, go ahead and like us, comment, subscribe, do all those things. We had an incredible time with, I was going to say our Council Chambers chat, but today it was our Discord and Patreon chat. So Check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/badnerds. There's a link in the show notes. There's a ton of other content out there. I've been talking about the Jeremiah stuff. That's available on the Patreon. If you want to just support the show in a way and you don't want to lay out any cash, that's super cool. Just share the show. Share the show with somebody who might love things like Arthurian legends or Bester showing up from time to time. It's going to happen right here next week. Thanks so much for joining us. We will see you next time.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, so I got a little surprise for you.
Okay.
I didn't tell you about this.
All right.
I didn't tell you about this. Prior to recording this episode some time ago, knowing this episode's coming back around, reached out to JMS and asked him just some thoughts on kind of where we were and what happened, and actually got a note back from JMS.
You did?
I did. Should I read it?
Yes, you absolutely should read it. What did he say?
Okay. I'm going to read it. Here we go.
Okay.
Dear Jeff, and especially Brent, fuck you, Joe.
I mean, we're not some deep space franchise. This station is about something.